This conference will now be recorded.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. USA Voice and Data, we do hold monthly webinars for our clients and partners, etc., and client and partner prospects, etc. They're really educational webinars. We try and feature one of the leading providers in a particular technology solution space, and today we're joined by the folks at Talkdesk, one of the leading contact center as a service solution providers. So welcome to Talkdesk, Beth and Jason. Looking forward to seeing your demo, Jason, as we click through here.
Thank you.
So today we're going to be talking about contact center as a service solutions, and specifically the transition from very much a traditional contact center environment to a modern contact center environment with remote workers, etc., and really focusing on how to improve customer experience to gain a competitive advantage over some of your competitors. Oh, hang on one second, pardon me. So today's agenda, first of all, we'll just give a definition of what contact center as a service is, CCaaS. We'll be reviewing who USA Voice and Data is and what makes us the CCaaS experts. We're going to provide you with some industry insight into CCaaS adoption and the drivers of that adoption. You'll see that it's pretty much mainstream, that adoption these days, and we've got some statistics, etc. And I'm sure Beth and the folks at Talkdesk will be able to provide some idea of exactly how much their business is kicked up as a result of COVID, etc. We'll also be reviewing real briefly typical characteristics of an on-premise contact center versus a modern cloud-based solution, and then we'll talk a bit about how you would go about evaluating your CCaaS solution provider options. Once we've done that, I'm going to hand over to Beth, and she's going to give us a nice intro into who Talkdesk is, a bit about their solutions and their differentiators, and then we're actually going to go into a live demo of the Talkdesk solution itself, so you'll actually be able to see it real time. Yeah. Hello. Anyway, so then we'll just be wrapping up real briefly with some key solution takeaways, and we'll finally we'll have a slide on how you should go about getting started evaluating your contact center as a service solution options. So with no further ado, let's move on. So what is contact center as a service? It's basically call center software hosted or built natively in the cloud instead of hosted on premise. And like most things these days, they're moving to as a service sort of model where there's no real upfront costs and everything is delivered as a service and supported as a service. So you can forget about a big capex cost up front for buying a bunch of equipment and ongoing maintenance costs, and instead you end up with monthly licensing costs, although obviously some providers do allow you to pay on a annual basis, etc. And these contact centers these days are not really just around providing good customer service, but with churn in contact center being probably the largest struggle to manage, they are also about providing a better employee experience. So customer experience CX and employee experience EX. So modern CCaaS features include all of the following. Obviously, omni-channel customer engagement. So a customer can choose whether they want to chat with you or whether they want to send you an email or speak with you, or use social media or whatever. Workforce management, quality management, performance management. Obviously, a real hot topic these days is AI and knowledge management and leveraging data to enrich the customer experience and the employee engagement, etc., with the customers. And obviously, in conjunction with that, all that data, providing analytics, insights, and reporting for those folks who are managing the contact center, etc., and executives. Enterprise collaboration, being able to effectively collaborate with folks who aren't working in the contact center, and then obviously improving process flows and efficiencies by leveraging integrations with the leading applications such as CRMs, etc. And finally, of course, like all modern cloud applications and as a service type solutions, built-in scalability, flexibility, reliability, redundancy, and obviously in conjunction with that, security at the same time. So this is a sort of traditional on-premise contact center, very capitally intensive. You know, you buy the contact center solution, and then you pay maintenance costs and so on and so forth. You have all your agents working from a few contact center locations, which makes it easier for them to be managed, etc. However, obviously, that's caused quite a problem for COVID-19, and I think we've all faced a situation where we've been put on hold for considerably longer than useful for all these large businesses. I myself have tried to speak to my bank, and I bank with Chase, and the wait time is pretty horrific, and obviously they've been struggling with running their contact centers with less people there to allow for social distancing and stuff like that, and probably didn't have the necessary infrastructure in place to actually really basically allow all those contact center resources to work from home, etc. In the cloud world, obviously you're moving people out of those contact centers. They're working remotely, a bunch of them anyway. And as I mentioned before, zero capital investment up front, and very much more focused on a more flexible and scalable environment, etc. So USA Voice and Data, who are we, what we do? We're a leading technology solution advisor and broker. We focus around a bunch of different solution areas, cloud being one of them, obviously, and CCaaS very much falls in that cloud or voice category there. We also do cloud platforms, internet, network, data center security, and conferencing. We basically provide a bunch of advisory services, and then once our clients have selected a solution category, we then roll into a sort of brokering mode where we take those solution requirements and really run like RFPs for our clients, gathering quotes, setting up demos with different providers, etc. And we also provide some project management, optional project management for the implementation of whichever solution and whichever supplier's service is ordered. So thereby reducing risk as clients move from their existing solution to their new solution and in their cloud transition. So let's move on to the adoption of UCaaS, Unified Communication, and CCaaS, Contact Center as a Service solutions. What's been kind of driving the adoption? Obviously, you've got a bunch of old, aging infrastructure out there, and then along comes all these different forces, which are really very disruptive to the IT groups who are trying to support their business. and obviously the last of these, COVID-19 has really sort of ramped up the need for people to be able to remote work. What's alarming here is only 36% of call centers are using cloud technologies today. But obviously, as a result of all these different forces, that's changing rapidly. And even though it's 36% of call centers, the actual percentage of call center agents is probably a lot less than 36, because the folks that have adopted the cloud contact centers solutions have tended to be the early adopters. So lots of the small and medium-sized businesses and lots of the larger enterprises have been a little slower. But obviously now that they have started to transition, the actual number of agents themselves will start ramping up really quickly as well, just like that 36% there. And as you can see, this is projected to be, back in 2016, this was projected to be $100 billion business by 2022. That's next year. So that's pretty insane. So what are the actual drivers for this adoption? So obviously, I've kind of highlighted a few here that we'll be talking a bit more about today, and so on and so forth. But I'll leave it for you guys to review these. Sufficiently to say that expanding a talent pool and retaining talent, i.e. providing a good employee experience, is becoming more and more important. Obviously, improving customer experience is becoming more and more important. And finally, I think, Beth, you can talk a little bit about, maybe you can add a few cents here on that CRM changes and upgrades. How much of your, what sort of percentage of your opportunities have really come from a customer changing their CRM?
On an average basis, we see, I'm going to say between 60 and 70% of our opportunities are usually tied to some sort of CRM redesign, application development, or integration needs that they're looking to address with their call center.
Mm-hmm. And again, I think that is really being driven. That CRM, the needs for those changes to the CRM has been very much around helping with that customer experience and employee experience. A lot of the older CRMs weren't very flexible or weren't very good, and were premise-based. And obviously those two are moving out to the cloud. So in conjunction with those changes to CRMs, etc., obviously that's the perfect time to also be moving to a new contact center solution. So you can do lots of that testing in parallel with your new CRM, etc., to reduce risk, etc. So for me, it's really important you understand, you really understand, why are you looking to implement a CCaaS solution? And it's going to be different for different businesses depending upon where they're at and where they are, frankly, with their whole digital transformation, etc. So for some, it's really all about enabling remote working and expanding talent pools. For others, it's around eliminating CapEx, maintenance, and upgrade fees. But I think more and more are leaning towards these bottom two areas of reducing the attrition by employing the employee experience, because obviously attrition is just extremely expensive and troublesome for any contact center. And then obviously managing that customer experience and improving your CSAT scores. totally critical, because I think we got a slide coming up which just shows how fickle a modern customer is in terms of their allegiance with their existing suppliers, etc. You'll see that when it pops up here. And then besides understanding why you're wanting to implement a contact solution, it's important that you have a realistic idea of how quickly you're looking to move and have your CCaaS solution in place. And traditionally, contact center would, a contact center lift and shift would typically, wouldn't be targeted at anything under 3 months. But obviously with COVID, transitions have been required to take place in no time whatsoever. Beth, can you give us highlight maybe a couple of client examples?
I think one of the most impressive ones that we've done over the COVID situation is we had a Fortune 100 medical facility that needed to offsite their workers, their call center, and it was 1,400 employees. We started speaking with them on a Wednesday, an initial piece of the sales cycle, and by the following Friday, we started the installation, and we had those 1,400 people remote and operational by the end of the weekend, which is just a true reflection of the fact of what a cloud-based solution can do as far as flexibility. Now, I always like to tell everyone, in a perfect world, our installations here usually I run anywhere between 6 to 12 weeks in comparison to some of our competitors who are usually going to be more in the 6 to 12 month window. But as a cloud-based carrier, we're just able to be a lot more agile and responsive to our customers' needs.
And that contact center, was it like multiple channels, or was that just voice? I mean, it's hugely impressive. I mean, over a weekend, turning up that many people is just insane. But
yep.
was that just the voice solution, and was that with integration with their CRM?
That was with integration to their CRM. We do have some standard out-of-the-box CRM integrations that are available that Jason will be showing you here shortly.
Okay, cool. So USA Voice and Data, we work with all the leading portfolio of UCaaS and CCaaS providers. Here's just a small snapshot of some of the folks that we work with. So as advisors and brokers, because we're working with different clients with different priorities and different requirements every day, obviously we've spent a lot of time talking to these different providers and ascertaining exactly what they can and can't do, and what they have, what sort of integrations they have out of the box, and so on and so forth. And what that means is we've developed a interactive quick assessment form, which basically allows our clients to very quickly run through what is no more than a 15 to 20 minute questionnaire. And that allows our engineers to then take the answers from those questionnaires, if you like, their requirements, and run them through what we call our swim lanes. And those swim lanes allow us to very quickly leverage some other capital that we pull together in terms of functionalities and features of the different providers. So we have these matrices, which is extremely detailed, as you can see, with all the different providers across the top, and who they are, what platform they're using, what integrations they have, etc., functions, capabilities, and so on and so forth. So we can take those swim lanes and automatically just qualify or disqualify each of these different providers based upon each of our clients' specific requirements. So taking what would be a very busy, okay, there are these 30 contact center solution providers, and really when we get down to it and we look at all the security requirements, the features and bells and whistles, integration requirements, yada yada yada, if our engineers can then turn that IQA round in literally 24 to 48 hours and provide a short list of 2 or 3 providers that are really good fits for our individual clients. So that allows us then to establish demos like we're doing today with Talkdesk, specific for that individual client with those shortlisted providers, and gather some firm pricing and so on and so forth for our clients in a matter of days that would normally have taken a client weeks to achieve. And frankly, they might get misdirected in their search by having to reach out to all these providers who probably are going to come back with the answer, yeah, sure, we can do that. Obviously, we're not trying to sell anything. We're trying to make sure our clients are purchasing a solution that actually can deliver the requirements they need it to deliver. So that's really it from USA Voice and Data and the overview. I want to just like touch a little bit on like how the environment we have lived in has just changed over the last couple of years, and certainly as a result of COVID, everything has just been accelerated. Everyone's adoption of cloud has been going through the roof as people work remotely, and now more than ever, it's really an experience economy. You've got to give the best possible experience to your clients, otherwise they're not going to come back or they're going to move on. So this is a really quite alarming slide, and excuse me. Yeah, so an American Express survey. Excuse me 1 second.
I'll kind of pop in here.
So, yeah.
Go ahead, Sam. So customers are really willing to change for a great experience, and I myself can attest to this. When you call one of your vendors or one of your companies that you're working with, if their customer care center takes you, like Sam mentioned earlier, like Chase Bank is taking 2 hours to get to a call sometimes. Is your loyalty to Chase Bank so high that you wouldn't consider moving to, say, a Wells Fargo if they could answer your call in a shorter amount of time? And what we're seeing in the industry is really that 59% of users would try a new brand for a better customer service experience. And 52% are likely to switch brands if that company doesn't make an effort to personalize the communication. Those are kind of staggering numbers, because if you compare them to what brand loyalty numbers are, most brands feel that their clients would not switch to the rate of almost 80%, but the reality is they would willingly move ahead.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, it's staggering, as you said. It really is. So yeah, so this is by the end of 2020, customer experience will overtake price and product as a key brand differentiator. Businesses need to focus on experience in order to survive. And again, businesses are struggling out there to respond and just keep their doors open. But at the same time, they also need to provide better than ever customer experience if they're even going to maintain their existing clients, let alone bring on new clients. So it's a real struggle, and those percentages are just show how important this focus on experience really is. And furthermore, as we kind of like touched on before, it's not enough just to give a good customer experience. Employees, particularly in contact centers, you need to like be thinking about their experience as well. So it's one thing to look after your customers. It's another thing to also look after your employees as well, and it's becoming more and more important. So when you take a look at a traditional contact center pain points, it's agent attrition is always number one. Number two, insufficient tools to provide one-call resolution. 3, easy to view actionable analytics for those folks that are actually managing the contact center. For the person calling in, significant delays in getting their call to the right person, or not providing omni-channel support for them. Obviously for the folks managing stuff, actually maintaining and managing ads, moves, changes. As we look into the customer experience and EX improvement world, we're now adding to those struggles by saying, hey, you've got to enable remote workers, you got to enable interactions with customers and enhance team collaboration internally. You've got to handle greater than ever interaction volumes, because those folks that used to get support from walking into the store or whatever are not going to the stores, and so on and so forth. They're all going through the contact centers now. And then a big thing, and hopefully we're going to see a bunch of this in the demo here, how modern contact center solutions allowing us to enrich those customer interactions with the data that's being collected and with inbuilt AI into the platforms. And then obviously, you know, like we're doing today, enriching these customer interactions, so you're not just listening, you're actually seeing and communicating with video, etc. That's been a pretty big deal, as you've seen from the you know, the adoption of Zoom, etc. So it's really all about providing an integrated communications experience. And with that, I'm pleased to hand over the tongs here to Beth. Beth, thank you.
You bet. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And I know that you're probably the most excited to see the product. So I'll just talk to you for a brief moment about Talkdesk. So Talkdesk is really designed to help you improve your customer satisfaction. So every moment is an experience that matters. And as we are seeing in, you know, the post-COVID economy, that customers have a demand and expectation to provide a quality level of service that is real-time, seamless, and intelligent. And what we're really seeing is those expectations aren't being met with the older technology. Most of them were built before the digital age. They are channel siloed. They have little or no integration. They're slow to adapt. They're really stagnant as far as new technology. And whenever a call center manager needs to make a change, it usually requires them interfacing with the vendor that provided it, and really just a lack of any AI access to the platform. So our goal is to reduce your costs, increase your customer satisfaction, and improve your business agility, providing that cloud-based solution. And when we talk about what do you see if you implement that cloud-based solution, we're really seeing at least a 19% customer satisfaction improvement, usually a 20% agent productivity improvement, a reduction of 23% on average of a wait time reduction, and a 21% increase in, reduction in the time to answer. We also have some additional solutions that you can layer on to your platform. So say you have a business need for some streamlined call handling. We have a solution with a CRM integration that could reduce the authentication time 25%. If you need to change your resource optimization, we have a workforce management solution that can increase your occupancy rate up to 7%. The same goes for agent productivity. We have a call bar with the CRM integrations. Now, I think we're just going to kind of, Sam, you want to just keep populating those because we're written a little tight on time.
Sure.
But as you're going to see here, there's a lot of different applications that we can add onto our platform to address any individual's specific concerns or any call center specific concerns. So it really allows us to build a customized solution, or what we call a white glove solution that matches the business needs.
And these apps, you're just adding these just like through your App Store, is that right?
Correct. If you're familiar with an Apple phone, our App Store is built very similar in that if you want to try a new app, you can go to the App Store and take a look at what's available. I think about 95% of them offer a free 30-day trial that you can download and give it a shot and see if you like it. And if you like it at the end, it commences billing. And if you don't, you just click on another button and uninstall it. One of our main mantras here at the company is that we work with clicks, not code, and everything is designed to be very user-friendly. And with that, I'm going to hand this over to Jason Lowe, our sales engineer, who will give you a quick demo.
All right, Jason, let me just get you, hand you the reins here real quick.
Okay.
Bingo. You should be presenter.
Okay. Let me see if I can share my screen. Oh dear. It's telling me I need to, and I already have those set. So let me just go ahead and add to my system preferences the ability to share my screen using GoMeeting, which of course I would not have been able to do previous. So 1 second, please.
So while Jason's getting that set up, does anyone have any questions that we could address for you right now?
Okay, I apologize for that. Sam, can you make me the presenter one more time, please, so I can share my screen?
Okay, I'll probably have to make you're in twice now. Let
Okay,
me try and make you the presenter over there. Try that one.
got it. Okay. I am now, I believe, sharing my
There
screen.
you go. Yes, you are. Perfect.
Okay, fantastic. Again, sorry for the glitch, everybody. I hadn't had a chance to change my system preferences to allow GoToMeeting to share screens on my Mac. That is now resolved. And so what you should see in front of you, and what you do see in front of you, is a Salesforce instance. So over the next 20 minutes or so, just shy of 20 minutes, I'm going to do a very quick overview of the Talkdesk platform, looking at it from an agent perspective, a little bit of a manager supervisor perspective, as well as a little bit of administration if we have some time to touch on that. The reason that you see a Salesforce instance in front of you is because, pursuant to the points that were made earlier, we do really have great integrations to a lot of different CRMs, ERPs, sources of truth, order management systems, and the like. There's really two different directions that you can integrate to. One is going to be those CRMs and sources of truth, and the other is going to be to additional peripheral products, as was discussed by everyone previously, that you can go ahead and add on to add additional flavor and functionality to the Talkdesk platform. Things like workforce management and speech analytics and quality management capabilities. But for what I'm going to do right now, you'll see a Salesforce instance in front of you. This is what I'm going to demonstrate from, just to show you the realm of what's possible in integrating to different CRMs. Our integration to Salesforce is particularly good. I personally think it's the best in the industry. I have not seen an integration that's any better. And it's so good that we even embed, as you can see right there in front of you, our real-time dashboards right in the Salesforce environment. This is actually live real-time reporting dashboard that if you have users that are managers or supervisors, they can go in and they can see, exactly what's going on in the contact center at any given time. They can even send messages from here, change agent statuses from here. If there were contacts going on, which there are not right now, but there will be in a little bit, they could go in and see what's going on those calls and see these other different statistics. But we'll revisit this real-time dashboard in a minute, because what I want to show you is that in the Salesforce environment, if I click down here on the CTI phone connector, this is where people usually integrate an agent interface, if you will, into the Salesforce environment. We don't. You'll see it just says call bar connected. That's because I'm going to bring onto the screen the Talkdesk call bar. So this right here is a separate thick client agent interface that is on the agent's computer. This is installed and works as the soft phone. This is actually something that can be used with a microphone and headset on an agent's computer. This is what the secure WebRTC connection goes directly to. No, this isn't an agent interface where we're trying to integrate in some sort of a soft phone client. This is literally the soft phone client combined with the agent interface on our platform. And so what I'll go ahead and do to test this out so that you can see what it looks like as an agent takes a call is I'm going to place a call into the system that will get routed to this agent. When it starts ringing, you'll see some contextual information on the screen. I will institute a screen pop and then I'll go ahead and answer the phone. And so we'll go to that point. So just double checking. Yep. Okay. My status is available. You'll see that we have lots of statuses that are completely customizable to allow your agent to specify whether they are available to handle a call or not. In this case, I'll go ahead and indicate that I'm available. And so off screen, I've actually got a phone call coming in. All right, here we go. An individual named Brett Gardner is calling in. I don't have automatic screen pop turned on. I have proactive screen pop turned on. So I'm going to click on this open in Salesforce Cloud. And what that's going to do is in my Salesforce instance, it will allow me to go ahead and screen pop the contact's record. And I don't know why that's not working. Please forgive me. I think that's associated with the sharing thing that kind of might have screwed things up. But we've gone ahead and got a contact record popped up here. I can see some information about the call. It went back to queue because I had not answered it in time. So I'm going to go ahead and call back in again. You'll see this coming in. Okay, great. Mr. Gardner's calling in. Let me go ahead and answer the call. And I'm on the phone, Mr. Gardner. I'm going to hit mute here so that I don't get a big double echo in my computer headset. So I've screen popped Mr. Gardner's record. I have information about the call available to me. You'll see that this information was presented to the agent when the call came in. This can be things particular to the call, customer type VIP, product inquiry about, red widget. Any of those things about the call that I need to know and present to the agent, I can do so. We have call flow construction tools that allow us to do everything from database dips based on the phone number the call is coming in from, to taking their menu selections. Maybe they enter in their account number or they specify what type of a product that they're reaching out to us about. All of those different data points can be used to decide what the caller experience is going to be. What are their menu selections going to be? What information am I going to present to the agent when the call comes in? And that can all be displayed here. I also have a notes area where I can take notes. And I can enter in dispositions about the call. These are data points that can be reported upon later. And then normal call control as well. If I've made an outbound dial using the Talkdesk Google Chrome click to call extension to make that outbound dial, which you can install for single click dialing on the Talkdesk call bar. And I've reached a menu system. I have a keypad so I can enter in menu selections. All of your other controls apply. Hold button, a mute button that I've already engaged. I can add additional parties to the phone call, whether that be typing in an external number, or maybe I can see who's logged in and see what state they're in. Chad Anderson in LA is logged in, but I can't add him because he's in an away state. Whereas if I see Gary Ovanell, he's in London and he is in an available state. So if I wanted to add him to the call, I could do so with a single click. I can also transfer the call away from me in both a warm and a blind transfer capability. Same list of agents. By the way, these lists are type searchable, so I can start typing Gary's name so I can easily do that single click to transfer the call to him. I also have a list of external favorites if we've integrated to some other system, whether that is a SIP-enabled PBX or whether that is a UCaaS system, or maybe that's even a carrier or something like that. We can have entries in here available to the agents that are shortcuts for 10-digit DIDs or even what are called pseudo DIDs to make sure that any contact is being routed across a SIP trunk to save toll costs. So that is also a list of external resources that I can transfer to with a single click. And then last but not least, we do use the principles of skill-based routing within our platform. Those things we call ring groups. That's just a nomenclature difference. So we assign agents to ring groups, and then when a call is ready to be distributed to agents, we route it to a particular ring group and the ACD finds an agent that's available. But if I need to transfer this to another ring group, a very easy thing for me, if the call came in on sales and I really need to transfer this to technical support, I can just do so with a single click of the button. So call control with the Talkdesk call bar affected very easily, not very difficult at all. One thing I would note about the screen popping is because our integration with Salesforce and these other platforms is server side, we can do the automatic screen pop. We can do the proactive screen pop where the agent clicks on the cloud to do that screen pop. We can screen pop in the same tab. We can also screen pop in a separate tab. It just depends on what the customer wants or the user wants to, as far as their environment and how they want their agents to work with things. The reason we have that flexibility is not only because we have a server-side integration, but also to meet different use cases. Some people, the agents get stressed because screen pops happen too quickly. So let's let them proactively screen pop it. Some cases, agents have 25 different tabs of unfinished notes because they're opening up a new tab every time there's a screen pop. Or you can pop it in the same tab. It really just depends on what our customers want or need. Okay, so now I'm handling this call. Mr. Gardner is perfectly happy. I think we've gone to Salesforce and we've done whatever we needed to do to help him out. So let's go ahead and we'll end this call. And here you can see I've got this contact already specified. I've got the disposition specified. I can relate this to a case or opportunity if I need to. I can go down and enter in some additional call notes. I can enter in a contact's mood. That's just a fun little thing that's an additional way of telling how the call went. What this is the agent's perspective on how happy the caller was at the end of the call. Were they perfectly happy and felt like they'd been helped all right? Were they kind of blasé? Were they just not happy at the end of the call, or is the agent admitting they don't know? And so they can specify what they think as far as the contact's mood was at the end of the call. That marries nicely with things like CSAT survey scores or QM evaluations of calls, quality management. Those are the two areas that are traditionally called voice of the customer and voice of the company in evaluating the quality of a customer's interaction with the company and also used to grade the agent's performance. But we take into account what the agent thinks as far as the performance went. You know, so if they're always saying everything is fantastic, but their CSAT survey scores are not so great, think of it as a training opportunity. And so I can also indicate if I wish, and this is optional, a call quality to indicate whether the call was actually sounded really good. So then once I'm all done with everything and entered in my notes, I can hit log and voila, there we go. The call is done and I'm back to an available state, ready to handle the next call that comes into the ACD.
Jason, are you able to mandate an agent fills in each of those things?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes. You can make it so that they have to fill in certain things and add certain things and make them optional or not.
And does Talkdesk also have an ability to automatically survey the customer at the end of each call?
We do, yes. We actually have a built-in rating 1 to 5 CSAT survey that is text-based. And so that's just, it's not a really big, huge feature. It really is literally that. Just send us a rating from 1 to 5, and that becomes part of the contact detail record. The good news is that that gets to be reported upon later.
Cool.
Okay. And so what happens with that data when a call is done? So if I go to the Brett Gardner contact record, you'll see here is a whole big list of activities that I've had with Mr. Gardner. Let's go and pull up a historical record of an inbound call taken. Look at this, we got a bunch of stuff coming in. Here is the disposition entered in, the notes. I can see that survey score that was returned. I can see the mood face, maybe some metrics about the call and the like, and even a link to the call recording. One thing that is different about us is that we do not charge for call recording storage. It's a little bit of an architectural advantage because our platform is housed in the Amazon Web Services General Computing Cloud. The storage we use is Amazon S3, which has an extremely low cost. And we just decided that we don't want our customers to have the hassle of always feverishly trying to offload call recordings from our platform to miss, shall we say, monthly call recording storage charges. So we'll just go ahead and just not charge our customers indefinitely. There is no limit on that. As long as they are a customer of Talkdesk's, they can keep the call recording there. And subsequently, these links that you can embed in sources of truth like Salesforce and the like, those links don't ever break. They'll always work. So lots of data injection capabilities into CRMs. It should be noted that, again, I said server-side connection. This is being injected directly from our platform to their platform. It's not being driven locally on the agent's computer through some interface here. The interface here requires Salesforce to be up and running. Our integration does not. Believe it or not, we actually have a contact record in the Talkdesk platform that we use to two-way synchronize activity about a specific contact with the contact record in Salesforce. The benefit to our customers is that when Salesforce is having a maintenance window, maintenance windows are one of those things that are an attribute of server cluster architecture, of which Talkdesk is not. We don't have maintenance windows on the Talkdesk platform, but Salesforce does. And so in a 24/7, 365 environment where we're following the sun and we need to make sure our agents are able to handle calls all the time, if you're integrated using Salesforce or Dynamics or Zendesk or any of these other applications that we have these pre-built integrations to, and the integration is server side, we are using our internal contact record in the Talkdesk platform to keep track of what happens to that contact. And then if the CRM we're integrated to is having a maintenance window or downtime, doesn't matter, because when that CRM comes back up, then we go ahead and kick in the two-way synchronization between the contact records, and that information is logged, in this case in Salesforce. Pretty handy. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about that reporting capability. I'm kind of shifting personas away from an agent over to something a little bit more manager or supervisor based. You saw when I got to the live reporting there, it looked a lot like this. That's because it looks exactly like that. This is one of our live dashboard layouts in the Talkdesk platform. I've changed tabs over to the Talkdesk Central environment. Here I can go to live dashboards and I can select from a variety of different layouts, putting this however I want. What metric do I want in what box? What do I want to display where? These are all editable. So for example, in this one, it says service level. This is one where I can, change the metric to something else if I'd like. I can change my color coding thresholds, all sorts of customization in here. I can click on these that are drilled down. So I can see here a list of all of the different calls that are going on. Looks like Sean Hudgens is on a call, so maybe from here we'll go ahead and monitor the call, or we'll send Sean a message via Slack because we have a Slack integration built into this demonstration environment. Or I've got 14 agents on. One of them's in after call work, one of them's busy, 3 of them are away. I think I want to see the agents that are in away state. So if I click on this, I get that drill down list and I can send a message to that group of agents. Hey, get off of away, get on the phones. Kind of fun. Anyway, our real-time dashboard's quite powerful and very flexible. I can change what metric shows up in what panel. I can change the way that it's visualized, even so much as to change it completely with the same information if I'd like. There you'll see I changed my donut to a list. So our real-time dashboard capabilities, very, very powerful. One other quick note, you'll see these ones that say live, those are being fed data real time. They're not polling mechanism. These ones that are averages, like duration inbound or service level, yeah, those things you don't need to have exactly real time, but you'll see that these are actually updated always real time, instantaneous information for our real time reporting. But what's neat about our platform is not just that our real time reporting is very powerful, so is our historical reporting. We have full business intelligence type capabilities. We have 12 different default dashboard reports that show a lot of graphical elements, if you will, and then 18 other different reports that are just basically data layout reports. So graphical reports, there's all sorts of examples there. Here's one where I've got an inbound data report and I can see, calls for the last 30 days, all sorts of different charts and metrics and the like to show me what's going on in my contact center. This one over here is a service level report for how my service level is going today. So there's a couple of examples of those dashboard reports. Here's a data report, looks exactly like you would expect, just a whole bunch of raw data, and that's it. But then what's beautiful about the Talkdesk platform is that with our enterprise licenses, we can go in and we can create our own dashboards and our own reports. Here's one that I made in about 20 minutes. Where I can go and I can create these things called tiles. And each one of the tiles draws from a data schema that has hundreds, literally hundreds of different metrics that I can draw from. I can filter on some of them. I can pivot off of some of them. Whatever I need to do, I lay out my data the way that I want. I can filter it on whatever I'd like. I can specify how I want to see it, column chart, pie chart, area chart, word cloud, all sorts of really great options there. But it doesn't stop there, because with the Talkdesk platform, I can create my own custom calculations as well. If I'm just not seeing what I want from the metrics that are available, I can use any sort of combination of metrics to come up with a Excel-like mathematical formula to reflect what it is that I want to see. Like maybe I'd rather see the, the number of inbound calls divided by some, number, I don't know, number of days or something. I can go and I can create my own metric, and then I have that show up on my data grid, and subsequently I can also visualize it how I would like. And once I've created these tiles, I can lay them out and size them however I want and arrange this the way that I'd like it. And then I can also make it so that these individual tiles, they'll update every so often. So this is used by a number of our customers as a wallboard opportunity. Use these Explore dashboard reports and put them up on the wall. And if I want to get to the data that's available on the report, that's really easy as well. I can just simply download it as a PDF right away. I can download the raw data. I can send the data to someone via email with a single click. I can also schedule to have it sent to someone via email on a regular basis, daily, weekly, monthly, what have you. So availability of data very high in the Talkdesk platform. And all of this doesn't even speak to the ease of administration in the Talkdesk platform. We have tons of different things you can do to build out call flows, to specify what individuals can access what portions of the platform, to go into our integrations and specify these pre-built integrations on these different platforms that are already built. And there's a number of these in here. You'll see a few that are pretty standard, like Dynamics and Pipedrive, Zendesk, Zoho. We've already got a built-in integration to Salesforce. This is that one direction, right? Pre-built integrations to sources of truth. And we're not limited to pre-built integrations. We can integrate to anything that plays nice in the REST API space. As long as they use REST APIs for communication, we can talk to them. But that's one direction, the sources of truth. The other direction is, as was mentioned earlier in the intro, those different applications that we want to integrate to that perform additional functions. Now, don't get me wrong. In the Talkdesk platform, we have all sorts of things like our own quality management and workforce management and outbound dialing and knowledge-based management and different things like that. But here you can see there are some other apps, because if I've looked at the different applications of things that I want to maybe possibly integrate to, I can always find something that does what I want it to do, and I can, as was mentioned previously, install it with a single click of the button. And I get it free for 30 days to play with, and it's all built on Talkdesk paper. So administration of the platform, pretty easy stuff. All right, I'll go ahead and stop here, and let's go ahead and open it up. If anybody has any questions, please, by all means, ask.
So you mentioned everything just gets built under the Talkdesk, directly from Talkdesk, even though you're adding these other application licensing?
Correct. It's all built on Talkdesk paper. There's no separate contract. In fact, everything's coterminous. In fact, you can even add or remove apps on a monthly basis if that's what's desired.
So it's more like sort of monthly contracts for those, or you get a choice when you install them?
Not even that. We have the contract with the providers, and so we just bill you for use of that application. It's all on Talkdesk paper.
Oh, that's super.
Well, that was a great example of clicks there, Jason. Sure went through and was able to show everything, and that's really the easy use of our platform. And if there's one takeaway I'd like you to take from today's presentation, is just how easy it is to move and maneuver through this solution just by using, clicks and not code. You don't have to call someone to service it. He really showed exactly how easy it is to use.
Okay. Right. So I'm gonna take back presenter mode here.
Okay.
And we'll just wrap up with the last couple of slides. Oop. Here we are. So can everyone see my desktop?
Yes, we see your desktop.
Perfect. So 3 takeaways. Firstly, contact center as a solution is the future. it's been proven time and time again here. We've seen it from premise-based solutions going bankrupt, from other premise-based solutions trying to transition to offer cloud-based versions of their solutions, including folks like Genesys and Mitel, ShoreTel, and even like Cisco purchasing BroadSoft and for their UCaaS and CCaaS capability to replace the Cisco Call Manager and Contact Center. Obviously, we're in mainstream adoption mode right now, and those adoption rates are going through the roof. I don't know how many opportunities, if you compared to the number of opportunities you're working right now to this time last year, what would your guess be in terms of a multiple, Beth?
It would be hard to qualify. I just, at this point, the percentage rate that stuck out to me the most was that I think the cloud contact center market share when I first started here at Talkdesk a little over a year ago was about 22%. And they said within the next 5 years that a cloud-based contact center solution adaptation rate would be at 80. So just really the right place to be in the right time. And then COVID happened. And if anything, I would say that turned the volume up extremely significantly.
Right. And then the final takeaway, obviously, is, hey, it's all about CX and EX, and any sort of leading cloud contact center solution is going to enable a business to really reinvent themselves and transform both of those, customer experience and employee experience. And it can literally save the business, converting what has traditionally been a cost center for them into a profit center, and literally save them from going out of business. So we're excited for sure that there's this adoption. What do you do to actually start evaluating your CCaaS options? We'd encourage you to reach out to one of the experts here at USA Voice and Data. Contact details are right there. You can drop a note to info@usavoicedata.com. When you reach out to us, we're probably going to be sending you one of those interactive quick assessment forms, which takes no more than 10 to 15 minutes to complete. And then that will help us evaluate which solutions best fit your needs and get you detailed demos. Obviously, Jason had very little time today, did an awesome job, but once we actually get to understand how your contact center is working today, we can not only show how that can be done with the new capabilities, but also how that interaction can be enriched, as we mentioned, leveraging all the capabilities, the AI, et cetera, that Talkdesk and their peers now have available. So with that, I think we're pretty much at the end of our presentation today. If anyone does have any more questions, we'd happily take them now. And if not, then I'm going to call this a wrap. And again, just thank everyone for their time today. Beth, Jason, thank you for setting this up with me today. We really appreciate it. Everyone will get a follow-up email with a link to the presentation. And we do hope you'll continue to tune in once a month and see some of our other solution demos, both for contact center and lots of other technology solution areas that USA Voice and Data can help you with. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.